show to start 37 minutes ago, but spent the last half hour rewriting a script 5 times. I was like, man, this isn't what I wanted to do. But because of the market that they have and the infrastructure that they have, this is the direction that I'm going to end up going today. Now, understandably, the standard of living in Bhutan is excessively reasonable. So you can live in Bhutan for less than $1,000 a month, and you can live a pretty awesome lifestyle out there. And you have the ability to invest in businesses and other opportunities, which is what we're going to be talking about today while we're in Bhutan. And because their infrastructure is different, that's going to be the main focus of today's topic. So I want to make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you come through. Note that we do typically start closer to 10 o'clock Central Time, which is 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but we tend to go on the air effectively around 10:35 Central Time, which is about 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. That's the normal air time. So today is not the traditional air time, but since you're here, you're going to get to hear some stuff about Bhutan. We are live 7 nights a week. We got a different topic every night. Typically, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're talking about finance and investments. Wednesday specifically, we talk about investing in different countries, living in different countries, finding traditional wives in different countries, preferably in the East, because the East is still more traditional than the West. But we cover all the countries around the world, at least one country per day, if not more, every week. And then Monday, we talk about how politics and billionaire behavior negatively impacts our ability to invest and save and grow profits. And then Tuesday, we talk about ways for us to improve our money. Now, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, today being Thursday, tonight's show that's going to air is going to be talking about ways for us to improve ourselves and improve our decision-making processes. That way we can spend less money on unnecessary things and spend more money on necessary things, and invest the money that we don't need to spend into making more money for us so that we can retire. That's what we do on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday is our members only show that's open to the public, which allows us to deal with questions and comments from all of the fans active on the show and any that have communicated with us outside of the show, so that you guys can kind of get a feel for the kind of stuff that I'm looking at when I'm going through the channel. It also gives us a random plethora of responses from folks that gives us the first person understanding of when we are making the wrong decision due to selfish desires versus overly emotional behavior, because not everybody is emotionally intelligent. Some people are emotionally dead, but some people are overreacting and some people are underreacting, and neither one are communicating. And that could be leading to why your social life, your personal life is chaotic, which interferes with your ability to run your financial life. Because if you don't have any stress in your life from your personal life, you can focus on making money when it's time to focus on making money. And if you're making enough money in an automated fashion, the way we were talking about with investments, you have more free time for your personal life. And if your personal life is not chaotic, when you make time for your personal life, you have more fun in your personal life, building memories and living life with the people that matter to you. As it stands with this, though, I pay attention to the fact that since we're talking about Bhutan, real quick, today is the ex-dividend day for Two Harbors. We were talking about it on Monday. We were supposed to be investing in Two Harbors by yesterday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you didn't get on the books, you missed the payout for Two Harbors. Harbors is going to open up at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about 3 hours from now. When the stock market opens, if you're already on the books, you will be getting paid for Two Harbors. After that, you can't sell during the ex-dividend day because you might sell before they count your name. After that, when the market closes at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I do believe that the market is going to be a half a day today, if I remember correctly, because in observance of the 4th of July, which is Friday, they're supposed to be doing a partial business day. So they're supposed to wrap things up at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is about 11 o'clock California time. So after that, it's likely to start scheduling trades for the next day. But for those of you that are operating on ETFs, you might want to wait until after the official close date of the stock market. So, maybe start making your trade for Friday. Start making that trade at like 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or for those of you that are over in California, that's like 2 p.m. You start making those trades. Around about that time, then you can do what we're doing today is selling two harbors. And we're selling two harbors for the majority of the shares that we bought in, or all of the shares that we bought in, if we didn't own any shares of Two Harbor before today. And then after that, it should take a couple days to settle, which will be Friday and potentially Monday, because they operate off of business days. It might clear over the weekend if you're using ETFs. But once the money clears, then on Monday, you should be trying to buy into Global Net for, I do believe it's the 11th, which is next week, Wednesday. So you're trying to get on the books before next week, Tuesday, so that when they start counting names next week, that you're going to get yours. That's what we're working on. No worries though, because once you get on the books for Global Net, you can do the buy and hold, and then after I'll tell you about the ex-dividend date if you don't do the research and get it yourself, because you can literally say Global Net ex-dividend date and it'll tell you what the date is. So you always have the opportunity in life to swing around and ask the Google lady, when does this stock close out? And it will tell you. So that's something that you could do, and then you would be able to pocket that stock option. Once you pocket the stock option and then it's time for the sell, you sell after that day. You're going to let your money sit for a little bit because like I told you guys before, we have some trade opportunities that we're going to be measuring through, because we have Orchid Island and AGNC that are both due on the 28th as an ex-dividend date. If you buy in before that, you have one of those or both of those options. They pay 12 cents a share. We have on the 2nd of August, though, we have Zim that's significantly higher. I do believe 74 cents a share. It's a quarterly stock, but you cannot sell Orchid Island on the 1st and still be able to buy Zim with the same stack of cash on the 2nd, because there's usually a day or two layover from the day that you sell versus the time the money settles before you can start buying that, use that money to buy something else. So now we have to do some calculations and potentially put the money on Zim. Unless you have several stacks of cash, you can split your money up and put some on AGNC, some on Orchid Island, and put some on Zim. And then the money that you put on Zim is going to give you a regular payout. Those of you that wants to just go ahead and do AGNC and Orchid Island, y'all can do that, but you're going to be making less, because at 12 cents a share for Orchid Island for one payout in 1 month versus 75 cents a share from the other one. The Zim stock, if I remember correctly, is between $16 and $19 a share, and Orchid Island is like $7.10 a share. So you can buy 2 or 3 shares of Orchid Island, which is at best 36 cents for the set, for the same monetary value that Zim gives you 74 cents a share. So there's hands down no way that you can match dollar for dollar the share cost for the highest paid, lowest cost ex-dividend date release as Orchid Island to this once a quarter payout from Zim. So I'm going to be giving you guys the ins and outs on how to shift that over. So if you missed the show this morning while I'm talking to you about it, I'm going to fill you in again on it next week, but I am going to mention it again. I'm going to mention some of it later today about, sell Two Harbor, buy Global Net, but I'm going to remind you about Zim a little way down the line. So if you're not, you guys can do your own investment strategy, but if you're not following along, you could potentially find yourself not investing in the dividend stocks that we are trading through in our dividend rotation strategy, where even Steven from Twitter X has been able to confirm that definitely we're switching investment opportunities in the right fashion, where we're making a gain off of the selling the stock, and we're making a gain off of the interest off of them owning the stock on the ex-dividend date. So we're essentially getting paid twice, which allows us to be able to take that money and add it to our principal and have a larger quantity of money to invest into the next stock. We have been tripling our profit margin, not our investment. We've been tripling our profit margin. So what we was once getting, a certain stack of cash, we're getting 3 times more than that every month. So if you think about that, if you would have been drawing back $1,000 a month before using the dividend rotation strategy, and now you're using the dividend rotation strategy, you'd be drawing back like $3,000 a month, which for some people is your standard of living, which ultimately means that once you start living off of that level, it is a higher probability that you could start planning for early retirement, because once you have enough capital set aside where you can trade and still have capital left over to pay your bills, you don't have to work anymore. You choose to work. So as soon as your boss get on your last nerve, that is the last day that you come to work. And I can tell you, I've had that happen before. I had a boss piss me off, and I was on my way to go talk to the boss. And one of my homies that I work with, I had a loyal crew with me. And I was like, hey, man, if this boss tell me something I don't want to hear, this is my last day on the job. I just want you to know. And he was like, all right, word. So I went in there. The conversation didn't go the way it should have went. And I was like, all right, you can have it. And I walked right on out. And that was a wrap. And now I get paid to stay at home. So, I mean, I do travel from time to time. And it's part of the reasons why we had the late show today, because different time zones, jet lag, and got to sleep sometime and get to the hotel and all this other stuff. And I'm not an avid streamer. I mean, I do podcasts every day, but I don't walk around my life with a video camera going streaming to you guys. Not yet, at least. So I get to my destination and then I whip up the camera and I start the show instead of walking around like, look at me, I'm in another place. I probably should do that. But I haven't done that yet. So where I am right now is, once we get settled in, then we start the show, which technically causes me to start late. Now, before I get started with today's discussion of what's going on in Bhutan, I want you guys to make sure that you understand that you can like and subscribe to the show. That's a given. So you can like and subscribe on the show. Any comments that you give me from Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube will be seen up here in the top of the screen, as long as those comments are appropriate. If they are mildly inappropriate, then they will be not seen. But if they are extremely inappropriate, then you will be removed from the platform altogether. So I'm going to ask that you maintain a level of appropriateness when you are on the channel, because we do have individuals that come to the channel that are not quite of the age of 18, and I would like to show them the respect when they do come here to learn things. This is an adult channel, and we do have a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, but while it is an adult channel, it is still encouraged for us to be positive for the next generation, because they need to learn this stuff, and it's not being taught in school. It's not being taught in private school. It's not being taught in business, college. You learn this along the way. So the first time that there is a platform anywhere that is willing to give you guys financial information for free, that y'all need to take advantage of that. Seriously. And have your kids up here. If you instead of your kids looking at inappropriate stuff, people fighting and setting one another on fire and stuff, they need to be sitting here learning how to invest and save and put their money in places where their money is making money for them. And real quick, before I get going, I just want y'all to think about this real quick, because it crossed my mind quite a few times. And when you start having this mentality, this investment mentality, you start making different decisions. You know, individuals who smoke, I know a lot of y'all smoke the Newports, right? Newports, Camel Cools, Camel Crushes, this, that, and the third. I'm not going to give you a Surgeon General warning. I don't care. I just want you to understand, pack of cigarettes in New York is around about $17, right? $17, $18 with taxes, right? Now, Orchid Island is about $7, $7.10 a pack. You could buy at least 2 to 3 shares of Orchid Island for every pack of cigarettes that you burn. Think about the fact that Two Harbors that should be putting out a few $100s in dividends today is a $17 stock, which is a pack of cigarettes. So if you think about your average mixed drink at the bar, usually $5 or $7 a glass, and you think about your pack of cigarettes, one pack of cigarettes and one drink could have been some Two Harbor stock and some Orchid Island stock that you just wasted. You just threw it away. Think about the fact that when you go hang out with your homies and your drinks, first round's on you, it's you, 2 or 3 of your homeboys, 1 or 2 chicks that you're trying to talk to. You're buying 7 drinks, 7 rounds. That's 7 shares that you could have invested somewhere else, where the money that was paid to you, you could be using the profits to go out and do what you got to do, instead of taking your primary paycheck, the principal, and doing that. And now that you finish entertaining your friends, now you're broke as fuck. You're still having money troubles, and you're wondering why you have to get up in the morning with a hangover and go earn money so that you have money to cover the bills, because the rent is due in 2 days. If you didn't pay the rent on Monday, the rent is due in 2 days, between the 1st and the 5th. And if you ain't got it, they're charging you late fees. So for those individuals, and I'm talking about it right now because today is the 4th of July. So some people who have the kind of job that gives them holidays off, you've got a day off today or tomorrow. And with that day off, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be wasting money on fireworks and other bullshit, where he said, man, you're so unemployed. I love that. I love that. You're fucking right. I work for myself, so I don't have another guy that tells me what to do and when to do it. I make my hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by making contact with my clients in Asia, which I did earlier tonight, which is why the show started at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of starting when it was supposed to start, because I made my money first and then I came to the podcast. You're damn right. I am so unemployed. I am super duper unemployed. All my bills are paid for, and all the rest of my money is going into the investment opportunities that I'm utilizing to make money for me, so that when I come and tell you guys about all the trade opportunities that you can get into, you can make, save, and invest money the same way I'm doing and put a lot of money in your pocket. Or you could be like Yuri here and be a naysayer, but Yuri's broke as fuck. And you can tell that Yuri's broke as fuck, because if the people who got money is investing money and spending money on doing something other than negatively commenting on a podcast at 5 o'clock in the morning. Plain and simple. Everybody else here that's listening, y'all can comment if you like. He said you make money by selling people investment opportunities and courses. But see, that's the thing. I'm not selling shit. You don't got to buy my subscription. You don't have to join my membership. If, as a matter of fact, it's free. It's free to follow on Twitter. It's free to follow on Twitch. And all of this investment opportunity, you have not paid $1 since you started talking shit on the channel. However, the fact is that the opportunity that I just told you 10 minutes ago about selling your Two Harbor stock so that you can buy the Global Net stock is free information, that if you bought the stock 3 days ago, you should have made a few $100s today, and you're going to be selling it tonight so that it is sold tomorrow, so that you would have made a shit ton of money by hanging out on this podcast talking to me. But you're going to say that I'm selling an opportunity. What am I selling? How much did you pay me to hear that information? See, now he's going to overcompensate at 2 p.m., wherever the fuck he's at, Australia or some shit. And then he's saying that he's got $2 million worth of land. We're not talking about your Atlas Earth account. We're talking about legitimate investment opportunities, legitimate stock options, legitimate successful individuals that are going to build their wealth somewhere else. So while you're trying to put up a fictitious observation that you're that rich that you can sit here bored as fuck on a podcast, where if you're rich, you know that what I just said was true about selling the stock from the dividend capture rotation, buying into the next stock, and the difference between the purchase of Zim stock for the second versus Orchid Island and AGNC for the 30th is the difference between making more money off of one stock or making less money off of two other stocks. And if you're only using one stack of cash for that rotation, you can only put your money in so many places. Now, if you got enough money to get all three stocks, then you get all three stocks. But the difference between getting all three stocks and being diversified versus getting one stock and putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping for maximum gain is the difference between should you get Orchid Island, AGNC, or the Zim stock. So yeah, if you're a millionaire, buddy, you would be nodding your head like this guy knows what he's talking about. Where did he get his information from? You know, stuff like that. But for you to say, oh, you're just a broke guy. Really? The difference between me and a millionaire is whether or not I pay for a private jet to fly to Bhutan and host a show versus research on Bhutan and host this show. That's the difference between the two. But you, who claim to be a millionaire, don't have the courage to. All of y'all have the capabilities to do it as long as you're appropriate about it. Click the link, approve the mic, approve the camera, and it brings you onto the show in real time, which gives you the opportunity to communicate in real time. Hecklers, trollers, people like Yuri are not going to click that link and approve the mic and approve the camera because they don't want me to see who is heckling the podcast. Because I see you before you go up on the screen. That's how it works. Either way, for those of you who are going to be following the channel, we're going to be on at around about 10:30 Central Standard Time, which is about 11:30 Eastern Standard Time in the PM hours tonight. And we are going to be talking about other ways for us to make, save, and invest and improve ourselves so that we can have a better standard of living. Now, moving on. That's even worse, y'all. So he's talking shit, and then he's gonna say, bro, I inherited it. I can send you the coordinates. Bro, I can Google map some crap and send you coordinates of a private island and call it mine, but that don't that don't mean that it's mine, you know? And if you inherited it, you didn't earn it. And if you inherited it, the people who died, who made all of whatever inheritance that you claim that you have, did the stuff that I'm talking about doing to make the money to buy the island so that they can will it to their kids, so that their ungrateful kids can do the things that you're doing right now on the podcast, which is gloat about something that you don't deserve because you didn't earn it and you don't know what to do with it. But again, if you were as wealthy as you say, you would be investing your time more wisely. I don't see Donald Trump on social media heckling podcasts. The only time successful people will come onto a podcast and heckle a podcast is if the podcast is producing inaccurate information in comparison to known, factual, publicly obtainable knowledge. That's the only time. If I was wrong about it, where I was putting up information that was not correct, then somebody who had more knowledge about it would come and correct me. Nobody comes and corrects me because I do ample research before I air the show, which is why my show doesn't start on time, because I'm organizing the details and the facts before I air the show. Which also means that since I'm always informed, I'm always informed. And what me and Steven have done this quite a few times, where when he'll ask me about some information and I don't have all the answers to all the questions, and he'll ask me about some information. And what do? Mid-show, do a little bit of research, see what I can find about it, and then let you know what I found, which is the same thing that you guys could do. But most people don't do that. Most people live their lives on autopilot and only pay attention to the things that directly impact what they're trying to do right now. So if you're trying to eat right now, you don't care what's going on outside of your house. If you're trying to sleep right now, the only thing that you care about is to sleep. You don't care about what's happening outside of your house unless what's outside of your house is stopping you from sleeping. Matter of fact, I was walking the dogs today and I seen a car parked on a sidewalk. I was not expecting that. The vehicle wasn't supposed, but it's not hurting anybody. So am I going to be a Karen and call the police and be like, hey, this car is double parked on? I said, no, I don't give a fuck. It is not interfering with my ability to take my dog to go take a shit. So I don't care. I'm going to go inside and mind my own damn business. But the fact is that if you knew what was going on in your society, then you would know how to spend your money, where to put your money, when not to spend your money, where not to go with your money. And then you will be able to make better decisions about how to hang out and enjoy your day with the people that matter to you. Now, again, nowhere in there is an individual that is blaming society for the way society is, or bitching about not having something that I feel personally entitled to without ever putting in the effort to earn it the way Yuri has. I just say, bro, if you've got the capabilities to put your efforts into something other than, you know, enjoying the pleasures of life, you've got the capabilities of building success. So if you don't have pre-inherited, is clearly up to you. Now, moving on, most foreign investors have been looking for opportunities in all the usual places. They're glued to market trends in big infrastructure project hunting, and they're also out there after the next big thing. They think in terms of scalable industries and quick profits. And for them, a gold mine is a massive headline grabbing enterprise. But a new breed of investors is abandoning that world entirely, drawn to the quiet, mist-covered valleys of the Himalayas. So, Yuri, you own a bunch of islands. If you don't own any in the Himalayas, you can take your ass over there to the Himalayas and get you some fucking islands. I'm trying to tell you. Now, they aren't just looking for new investments. They're looking for a new model of sustainable and meaningful enterprise. They are finding it in rural Bhutan, where their discovery is a quiet, powerful investment boom happening in the most secluded corners of the world, led by the one demographic that global finance almost always underestimates: the traditional family-oriented woman. So just when you thought we were going to be talking about one thing, y'all are about to find out that we can start investing in some females over there in Bhutan the way we can't invest in females in America. Ladies, y'all need to think about what y'all doing around here. Now, this story is remarkable because it redefines what a smart investment really means. So for foreign investors willing to integrate a new model for generating stable returns is emerging. It involves channeling capital into small women-led businesses, creating a life of quiet luxury for a fraction of the cost, and investing in a society where women are quietly taking the lead, where you don't have to really do much, where, again, Yuri, we would be hanging out, living a life of Raleigh, apparently unemployed, because you don't need to have a job to make money. You just need to make money for you. That is your job. Entertaining. I love that. But when you got enough money to live and you don't need to work, you're unemployed or retired. But to understand why savvy foreign investors are betting on rural Bhutan, you first have to understand the silent crisis unfolding in the country famous for gross national happiness. And that's one of the reasons why it took me so long for me to get through today's show, because I came to find out that they have some going on there. And I'm like, should I talk about the chaos or should I talk about the investments? Let's talk about investing through chaos, blending a little bit of the two. For decades, they've had a philosophy that has protected its pristine forests and unique culture, but beneath the surface, a classic economic problem has been tearing the country in two. The pull of the city is definitely struggling in comparison to the norm. So for generations, life was tied to the land, but substances that they're trying to farm are starting to break down. And this is basically an inability to provide substantial standards of living through farming, utilizing the backbreaking work of maintaining farms. For any young person growing up in the valley or in a village, The bright lights of the capital in Thimphu, or the promise of a job abroad, seem like the only path forward if they're not doing that backbreaking labor in the farms. Now, statistics are stark. Bhutan is facing a massive wave of rural to urban migration, a phenomenon creating gongtong, or empty households, leaving villages with abandoned fields and a dwindling population. This exodus creates a dominion effect where the countryside is being economically hollowed out, leaving behind an aging population and creating a severe labor shortage in agriculture. Now, the women who remain are left carrying an even heavier burden, managing farms and families, often alone. Now, how does this become important to you guys? Well, I tell y'all about us building wealth, flying to other countries, living dirt cheap, living reasonably comfortable, if not a moderate high life for dirt cheap, and then finding traditional women that we can start families with that have not been spoiled by or corrupted by the Western culture. Going to an entire country where the whole countryside is full of women that work, that don't complain, that have the traditional family values. They're family oriented and job seekers, which is what the 1960s ball burning down the street kind of protests were about, was being able to fulfill your roles at the house and be one of the breadwinners. It's like the best of both worlds. This leads to a paradox. The labor shortage on farms and not enough jobs in the city that they have to deal with in Bhutan puts youth employment at a soaring high, standing at alarming rates, particularly for the young women. This is the critical challenge that creates the opportunity. While the government pursues massive high-tech projects, these top-down strategies don't always solve the problem of a village emptying out. An investor can see this not as a crisis, but as a market efficiency or a market inefficiency, which when we were talking about on Tuesday, we profit from inefficiencies. When things are stable, we can't turn a profit. When things are volatile, we can turn a massive profit. The larger the profit we get is similarly the larger loss we could have had. There is a gap where valuable assets, land, culture, knowledge, and community trust are being undervalued. Now, the right kind of capital can solve this problem, and in doing so, create the foundation for a profitable and sustainable business. Now, the journey for this new type of investment doesn't start at Paro International Airport. It starts with recognizing that the hollow accumulation of wealth is a flawed model. Burnt out on volatility, investors are drawn to Bhutan's focus on well-being. So they aren't looking for an escape. They are looking for better models of living and investing. They don't move to the capital. They look to places like Ha Valley. Yes, it is called Ha Valley. No joke. A region of pristine, breathtaking landscape. Here, they discover a new definition of a luxurious lifestyle, where one that is always incredibly inexpensive. Days are governed by the sun, not the stock market. Luxury is breathing crisp mountain air, eating organic foods, and having the time to build real connections. I'm still going to be investing in the stock market at the same time. It is in these communities that one finds entrepreneurs like Kinley. Turns out Kinley is fiercely traditional, deeply connected to her community, but also possesses a sharp entrepreneurial mind, and she embodies the values that make Bhutan unique. Through partnerships with local women like her, investors can see past the beautiful scenery and recognize the real opportunities. The very peace and isolation that drive some youth away are the assets that can anchor a new kind of enterprise. So conventional investments, wisdom might say to stay away from such remote markets. That would be the recommendation from some old heads. But the opportunity lies with women like Kinley, who possess incredible skill and manage their households, but often lack access to capital. So there is a global travel market hungry for authenticity. The more valuable assets are cultural and social in a rural Bhutan, where they are almost entirely in the hands of women. So an investor's capital can bring a local vision to life. Consider a classic Bhutanese farmhouse where a woman named Kinley has an idea to turn it into a high-end homestay. She has a vision where the skills are included and the community trust is there, but lacks the capital to start it up. A commercial bank loan can be out of reach for her. This is where an investing partner can step in, not as a donor, but as an equity partner. Seed capital can allow for the creation of an experience that is both authentic and luxurious, where a guest wing can be renovated with modern comforts, but the core of the business remains the woman's cultural knowledge. Guests might learn to cook the national dishes of Ima Datishi, and they could forage for mushrooms with family members. In the evenings, they might experience the traditional hot stone bath, and this partnership would be pieced in a model of mutual respect, which is something that we don't see every day. As you noticed in the comment section earlier today. Now, the foreign partner can handle international marketing and financial strategy, while the local entrepreneur runs the entire operation. Doing this will be enabling your partner in a business that she loves to do. The enterprise that you would build there is a venture built on her heritage and the investor's capital. The business can be highly profitable with very low overhead, and the margins are high. This is the proof of concept where a targeted investment in a determined woman can lock or unlock the immense value, turning a home into a high yield business and the center of a thriving family enterprise. Now, one of the things I want to point out in this particular discussion is that you can go into Bhutan and buy real estate for cheap. You can start up a real estate business for very little. And if you're owning and leasing properties, you can partner with somebody who can benefit from the access to the properties. Because remember, I told you at the beginning of the discussion that the majority of the coast, or the majority of the rural areas towards the coast, is barren because people are moving away, abandoning the property, which means you can go there and buy up the property and then revolutionize it. I didn't tell you guys before, they've been doing hydroponic plants, hydroponic portable plant facilities where you basically buy a shipping container that is full of a highly functional ecosystem. And some of them are larger than others that has the machines in them that helps water the plant for you in a timely fashion, harvest the plants for you in a timely fashion. So all you got to do is just take the plants out and go do what you got to do. These hydroponic systems can generate 10 times more resources in a smaller space. So if you're meeting people who have a wheat field or a crop field of any kind, and you take that crop field and turn it into a bunch of hydroponic plants, you would end up getting 10 times more harvest from the same plot of land, assuming you filled the whole landmass up with hydroponic systems. Now, a single successful homestay becomes the blueprint for a repeatable model, because you can have, like, franchise style, multiple different women doing the same thing for each one of their homesteads, which could almost turn into like an Airbnb experience, but you would be at the head of the reins, not the app that you download to operate an Airbnb. Investors can achieve and actively seek out other opportunities, focusing entirely on businesses led by women who are the anchors of their communities, building a portfolio designed to create a self-sustaining local economy, assuming that the women that you're talking to isn't dropping it like it's hot and twerking on top of moving SUVs enough to get ran over by a fire hydrant again. This is why we say go to the traditional women. This model is built on Bhutan's own progressive policies. The government has a priority sector lending rule, PLS, that push banks to give low interest, sometimes collateral-free loans to cottage and small industries, de-risking initial investments. The microfinance has proven worldwide that women are an exceptionally good bet, reinvesting profits in their families and communities, which is wonderful because they're going to spend the money. You give them money, they're going to spend it. It's a worldwide statistic. Now, investors can connect with local women entrepreneurs through organizations like the Bhutan Association of Women Entrepreneurs, BOWE, BAOWE. Now, the model is a partnership where foreign capital in exchange for equity in a family-run business can occur. The portfolio can be diverse, and women reviving traditional textile weaving, and another starting an organic jam business, and a group developing a trekking company. You can see why these are the type of things that you want to get into, because once it gets off the ground, a lot of these things that you're like, oh, how are you going to make money off of that? How do people make money off of hobbies? It's doable. The return on investment is twofold. First, the direct financial return is strong, but the real prize is the social return. Combating the rural migration crisis, a successful business creates a microeconomy, creating opportunities that convince young people to stay. And this holistic approach is the genius of the model, an investment that generates a dual return of profits and purpose. Then when you're making money for the sake of making money, yeah, some people might hold you down with that. But when you're making money with a general purpose, a lot of people will throw down on that. The true power of this investment strategy isn't in one business, it's in the network effect in the society that it creates. So this portfolio isn't just a collection of assets, it's an ecosystem. And that's not something that we typically talk about. After investing in a homestead, capital could flow to jetsun, which is the village best weaver. And jetsun can use the capital to buy higher quality yarn and build workshops, which can bring in the children, because there is absolutely no way that thousands of dollars of Trump shoes were made without having the intricate touch of a toddler streaming through the laces. The two businesses can then be connected, and now guests at the homestay are offered a private weaving experience, which enhances both, because they could sign up for the class, pay a nominal fee for the class, or you can incorporate the fee for weaving into the sale price of the venture, so that when they buy the venture, they get the weaving seemingly at no cost, when in fact you paid for it when you bought your tickets. Now, next, an investor could be made in a young man who is family. He uses his family's pony to offer guided treks. So a trek is almost like hiking, walking a trail. So you're trekking when you're traveling by cart or car for those Solver Nation people. And that leads to you being able to turn a profit off of that. The same way kids sell lemonade by the courthouse, this kid is selling rides and tours with his pony. The homestay now bundles its offerings with his trek, and the synergy is obvious. Each business makes the others more valuable. Money that once went into a tour operator in the capital now circulates within the village, which is two different things. And that circulation is strengthening the local enterprise. So the investor that acts as a mentor and a connector, helping these small businesses with branding and making and market access a resilient, self-sustained local economy gets built. Now, the sense of decline is going to be replaced by the pride of possibility. The village is no longer a place to escape from, but a place to explore full opportunities. Now, young people who had left are now seeing a reason to return, not to fall back on substances such as farming, but to become entrepreneurs themselves. This model is brilliant, and it flips the script on globalization. It argues that a community's unique culture identity is its most valuable economic asset, and this strategy proves that growth doesn't have to mean becoming like everyone else. In fact, the entire investment is based on helping these communities become more like themselves. A better way to invest is emerging in Bhutan, and you guys need to jump on that bandwagon. It's a business model where investing in women-led, family-oriented enterprise products had strong return, very strong return, while helping to build a more sustainable and equitable future. Now, the untapped global mine, or gold mine in this particular situation in Bhutan, isn't a mineral. It's the ingenuity and resilience of its traditional women. So it's their ability to see their home, skills, and heritage not America, but as the foundation for a prosperous future. Now, partnering with these women isn't just a feel-good story. It's one of the smartest investments in the world today, and it passes multiple dividends: a clear financial return and a powerful social return. It tackles unemployment counters, rural decay, and preserves a unique global culture. So what's happening in these valleys is a profound lesson, and it offers a path built on community, purpose, and shared prosperity, where the biggest returns aren't measured in dollars alone. They're measured in the pride of a woman leading her family's business and the confidence of a community rebuilding its future trust as well. So as we search for smarter, more meaningful ways to invest, save, and cheaper places to live, perhaps we should all look to quiet valleys of the Himalayas, which leaves us with the final question. Is it hands-off, women-led, or community-focused models that we actually pay attention to, where real future or impactful foreign investments could compromise the economy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonates with you, you should continue to subscribe to the channel, share it with somebody that you know that could either enjoy it or argue against it, and get you guys some rest. So because you're supposed to be working on ways to bypass investment opportunities and acquiring the loans, you want to remember that when you set these things up, because a lot of these governments are foreigner friendly, you have to look into the government laws and see what incentives are out there that they're offering for the foreign investors, which could change the direction of where you put your money. That's all I have for you for today. So with that, I want to remind you guys to stay tuned for tonight's show, because we're going to be starting at regular time. And tonight's show is going to be a self-improvement kind of show. I'm going to do self-improvement kind of show because I already got Tuesday laid up for something Tuesday. So what I want to do is I want to let you guys go. Before I walk out the door, though, I want to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And then for the rest of you, this is a male-driven podcast. 75% of the followers are male. It's a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective. So try not to take offense to what I be telling you. Don't attack the messenger. Address the problem. So, fellas, since y'all are coming out the box as ideally expected to be the final product, but you're not, put forth some effort onto some of the investment opportunities that I tell you about so that you can experience a gain. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to this and that. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Or no, I'm going to see you guys tonight. So be back in like, 10, 12, 14 hours. Back in like 14 hours. I'll see you later today. Bye-bye for now.
Chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. That's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.